Okay, with Irene Lopez, Killing R is the short film, a short film from Sweden, but you're Latin America, but you live in Sweden?
Yeah, I came here when I was 6 years old.
Wow. Okay, so but you still have, is that, is the accent a Swedish accent, or like, is that the accent that you have from an American standpoint?
Well, so my American accent comes from San Francisco because my sisters live there. So like my family's scattered all over the world
Okay.
because of the war in El Salvador. So I have this accent because I mean you might hear some of the Swedish accent here. I don't think you hear the Latin American accent in my English
I
accent.
don't
You
know. I'm
might
just
hear.
curious what the accent is. I'm just like it's like yeah. I'm just curious. So okay, so other than tell me about like this film. It's fantastic, Killing Art, sci-fi fantasy festival. So tell me about you wrote the screenplay. Did you kind of collaborate on the screenplay? So tell me about the process of getting this film done. Like, what's your experience making films before this film?
So I'm an animator to begin with,
Okay.
who became a documentary filmmaker. And then I started doing fiction film because I wanted to explore the narrative, like what is more truth? Is documentaries more truth than fiction, or is it the other way around?
Yeah.
And I was exploring that when I did this film. And this film is very much based on my experiences as a mother. It's about being a mother,
You don't
basically.
have an AI clone though. That's the fantasy.
I do have an AI clone, but it's like in myself.
Okay.
Like I sometimes I joke with my husband when I do stuff that are like the AI clone, like the things that the AI clone does in the film. I say, oh, it was R. It was not me. It was R.
Yeah.
That because the AI clone's name is called R. So yeah.
So this is a kind of a modern film. I can relate. I have children, but my it's from the obviously from the mother perspective, which is a completely different than a father perspective. But it's that kind of like two worlds. You said you have an AI clone where like it's the work world and it's like kind of like being ambitious about your job and then being ambitious about being the best parent you can possibly be. And that's two jobs, and most people can't do one job, but you're forced to do two jobs, I guess. That's what the film's about.
Yeah, exactly. That's what the film's about. And also about the self-critique you always have in work and in life, that
Yeah.
you're always critiquing yourself of being, why can I be the best
Yeah.
me? Yeah,
It's like a cliche where like when you're at work, you're guilty about not being with your kid. When you're with your kid, you're guilty about not working, I guess, right?
exactly. You got it. I'm so happy that you got my film.
No, no, I 100%. It's like I totally 100% get it. It's like I said, I'm just a dad, but I totally get it. Like it's just like your brain is trying to do two things at the same time, which is impossible.
Yeah, yeah.
So when
So
go ahead.
no, you go ahead. You go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, so you collaborated with another writer. So tell me about that process of collaborating on this screenplay.
Yeah, so at the beginning, I started writing with the script writer who he was a male script writer, and we didn't really get the idea. Like we couldn't like get the whole idea in because he was more focused on other ideas that I didn't really relate to as a mother.
Yeah.
So after a while, I started actually writing the script with the production designer, Felix Agustin Greichinger. And he was doing the production design, but he's also a director to begin with, and he also writes scripts. So me and him started to write and to uh, build this world because it's a near future world.
Mm,
And so to do that, I collaborated a lot with him. Also, I collaborated a lot with the sound designer
mm.
because yeah, I guess the three of us were writing the whole world, how it should sound, how it should look, and yeah, what it was. How does this near future look like?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then so me and him were the ones finalizing the script, but I had to like to put in my own real experiences as a mother in the script because yeah, these other guys were like more into uh, doing the the narrative of the film.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And you're like centering on the emotion, the thematic of it.
Yeah,
Yeah. What a good director does. That's his director's job, mainly so. So we're
yeah.
making sure the story makes sense and the story is a through line. It's not jumbled up. So yeah, that sounds like a great collaboration.
Yeah, no, it was great, and I'm still collaborating with them. We're actually doing the feature film of Killing R.
That was my next question. This is
Yeah,
the proof. This seems like a proof of concept. This seems like a bigger project. Go ahead.
yeah, it is a bigger project, and in the bigger project we have, a mother-in-law and a mother, and like a lot of other characters that come in and tell us a little bit about the heritage of this criticism that we live with. I
Yeah.
mean, we inherit this from our parents, how they are. So yeah, we're more talking about like the inheritance of this, together with this clone in the middle, making life bitter for Rebecka, the main character. And so right now we're doing it again,
Yeah.
starting off from scratch again, but with the same team, almost with the same team, and a new producer and also a new script writer. This time I'm working with a female script writer, Arasu Arif, and yeah, she got the hang of it like a little bit more.
Yeah.
And but we're still working with the same team, with the same sound designer and the production designer and so on.
Well, I like this idea because it's sort of like you're talking about the previous generations, like the parents, where technology, like even where we are, because this is set in the future, but even where we are, technology has changed parenting, right? Where like the world has changed, but at the same time, it really hasn't. It's like parenting is still parenting, right? It
Mhm.
doesn't matter what if it's your grandmother, your great grandmother. It's still the core ideals are still there. It's just that the world has changed. So then, therefore, like in case of your story, there's an AI person, there's a nanny, I guess, an AI nanny, which is it's very conceivable in the next 10, 15 years that this is going to happen, right? So, but still, parenting is parenting, I guess, right?
Yeah, and Mike, for me, the whole film is about like the feature film is also going to be more about that, but it's about micromanaging
Yeah,
really because I mean you can kind of sense it in this short film that she's having a conversation with her husband, and she's like, why didn't you like fix the fence? And you know because I'm micromanaging my husband so much, like I micromanage him so like in details of what he has to do. And then I realized that I was also being micromanaged, but by my mother. Like when my mother comes to visit, she's like, are you gonna wash the kids like that? Are you gonna really like, are you gonna do this like
yeah.
this? And I just like realized, oh my God, I'm my mother's clone. It's horrible to be micromanaged like this. I don't want to be micromanaged like this. So I had to, I used this AI clone as a symbol for that.
Yeah.
Uh, but
Judgments.
because yeah, and but also I feel sometimes judged by Siri, like I just all these technology they're like telling me that I'm so stupid. Sometimes I write to ChatGPT like, I'm so sorry that I'm such an idiot. Why are you a better writer? Why is your spelling so much better than mine? I feel so stupid. At the same time that ChatGPT always tells me, oh, but you know you're the creative source. But still I feel judged. So I mean I found the parallel between that between
Remember, ChatGPT is only have to focus on grammar and spelling. You have to focus
yeah.
on other things, right? So
No, but it's funny when
you have one
ChatGPT
job.
tells me that, like,
Yeah.
no, you're so good, and I'm like, no, I'm not.
Someone created that algorithm to give people the positive reinforcement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's funny.
So tell me about the location's almost like it's basically a character in your film. It's like kind of a fantastic location where it's that you got some exterior shots, of course, but it's really mainly in the isolation of the home. Where did you shoot it? And where did you find the location?
It was amazing. The producer Carla Mantilla, she found this house that a normal family was living in, and they are architects.
Okay.
So it was amazing because we were like, where should an architect live? It has to be spacious, have to be modern, it has to and it is in the near future. Where do we find such a house? And in the beginning, the house was actually set on water because there was a scene in the end, a drowning scene that we couldn't afford.
Yeah.
So we had to change the location, and then we found this house. It's called the tea house. Like it's like just a tea. Looks like a tea.
Yeah.
And it's this family just let us shoot there for a week. We shot for a week, 5 days there, and they were so nice. They were so nice letting us stay there. So yeah.
Yeah. So it's like it's a modern house, and then you have elements of sci-fi, like elements of the future with the technology, which I'm assuming you did that all in post production. Those other kind of fantastical elements of the future that shows the audience that we're not in 2024. We're somewhere along, I guess. And where are we exactly? What year do you paint this?
I was always seeing this as a tribute to my daughters, as if Rebecka was my daughter,
Okay,
you know?
that's
So I
cool.
was thinking that that's like her life when she's having a kid.
Yeah,
It's very near future.
like
Not
30
that,
years
because
from
I
now.
think I'm doing a lot of research right now, so I think things are happening quite fast,
Yeah,
and we're seeing all these changes. Uh, I think in like in 5 years, 10 years from now, we're gonna have like different ways of communicating that we have right now. Like for example, I would be talking Swedish to you, and my everything would be translated directly. We even have those translations right now with AI, but it takes time. It reform, the algorithm takes time
yeah,
to adjust. But in the future, we're gonna do that in real time. I'm gonna be speaking to you in Swedish, and you're just gonna hear it in English. It's gonna be such a all these changes are happening so fast that I think it's gonna be really. I'm a Ray Bradbury fan. I'm a nerd. I loved
yeah.
Ray. I read everything about Ray Bradbury, but everything he writes about there in all his books are kind of where we are today. I mean, it's not that far.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. And still, we still have the patriarchy, some delays on, feminism, and we're still not there yet in other things, but we're there in the technology. I think everything's gonna go so much faster than we.
I'm curious about the reaction. I'll give you an analogy. So in 1997, they cloned a sheep, right? And people were outraged by it. Like, I can't believe, and I'm assuming they can clone a human now. If they can clone a sheep 30 years ago, they can clone a human now. But in terms of the ether of society, people rejected that idea. They didn't like that idea. So they said, no, I think Barbara Streisand cloned her dog, right? So basically, so it's doable, but people did not react kindly to that. So looking at your AI, I even was guilty of it too when I'm watching your film. Is that I'm suspicious of that character. I'm suspicious of that AI. I don't trust that character, and it's sort of like I'm curious about how the public's going to react to that as well. Like, how much are we going to trust and allow in terms of technology? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, of course. And I've talked a lot of with a lot of professors and
Yeah,
mathematician and but mathematicians and
yeah,
that sort of physicians. They're like they're saying the other way around. They're saying this is just zeros and ones.
yeah.
They're just gonna do whatever we want, and it's not.
Yeah,
They're
but I
not.
don't I don't believe that. But
No, I know, and but
because
it's a it's
they're in a vacuum, right? They're not in
yeah.
the world. They're just in their own little labs, right?
Exactly. But if you read, for example, Asimov, the rules of Asimov, another writer who wrote, how the rules of robotics would be in the future, that would be that, they cannot well, if we talk, we're talking about different things. We're talking about the clones, and we're talking about the AI, but
Yeah,
in my film, the AI in the clone is like one. It's like a humanoid.
No, but I'm saying that like you're in your character like this. It's a nanny. The nanny's been replaced by the AI,
Yeah.
right?
But
So
she doesn't have a self-awareness kind of. In my film, in this short film, we really talked about that. Like she doesn't have a, she's just doing what, her job. And but it irritates Rebecca, a
yeah,
lot because she's just telling her facts. But a person who tells you facts all the time and is better than you, it's an irritating person. Uh,
yeah, that's what I'm
that's
saying. So what are we gonna? Yeah, no, it's the human. The human is the flaw. The human
exactly.
is the flawed character, not the AI. The AI
Yeah.
is doing its job, right?
Yeah.
Her
Yeah.
her reaction is misguided because she's emotional because she's a human, right? So
Exactly, exactly. But so I was very drawn to the rules of Asimov, as I told you, that
yeah,
the robotics cannot, they will never go against humans. They can never kill humans, but they will protect them. And in Asimov's books, at one point they even like try to protect humans by capturing them. And that is a thrilling idea that I'm taking with me to the feature film
yeah,
because there's different ways of protection. For example, China right now, you know, they're protecting people by monitoring them
yeah,
in different ways. But is that freedom? Is that protection? Other questions rise up.
yeah.
It,
Yeah, it's like yeah. There's it's an interesting. Let's just the finish. Yeah, it's an interesting time that we live in. Let's put it that way, right?
yeah, I can talk about forever about this
But your
because
storytelling is fantastic in terms of like because it's like that. Like I said, like the antagonist is really the mom in a sense. For it's because she's got too many things going on and she's basically there's insecurity, I guess, right? And you talked about micromanaging, which is judgment, I guess, right? And her being judged is in lack of sleep, I guess, is setting her off.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's both micromanaging and this self-critique that we always have because the micromanaging is just like this is something I don't know. Do you do that in your relationship? Don't you, or don't you do it in your relationship? Like, oh, should you, how much pasta? Are you really taking that much pasta? Like in everything. And I did a lot of studies with families before doing this film, and that was the biggest issue that that people have, how to control it's because you lose control when you become a parent.
Yeah.
You don't know, like your kids are suicide, people. They just want
Yeah.
to kill themselves all the time. And for me that was a hard thing to cope with, how to keep them safe but not like totally you know squeeze them to death. So they had to have freedom, but they
Yeah.
also have, yeah. And it's a
They have
hard
they
time.
need in order for them to grow up, they need their independence. But then as a parent, you want to protect them, right? So it's
Yeah,
like, but you can't protect them all the time. They need to go off and do their thing, right?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And in terms of like what you're talking about, because I think that it comes from, let's just be optimistic here. So your mom saying, "Oh, you sure you need to do, you want to do that and whatever, right?" Or your husband, or you do it to your husband. I think it comes from a confidence place where like you think you know best, right? You think you know more than the other person, so you're trying to give advice, but it comes off as judgment, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you want to like. I think it's like I don't know. In Latin America, we also I'm together with a Jewish man, so we have a very our families are very similar.
Yeah.
There's even a book called you don't it's called How to Be a Jewish Mother, and in the back of the book it says you don't have to be Jewish or a mother to become a Jewish mother. It's just the way of like how you act
There's
and
actually a book called that, How to Be a Jewish Mother.
yeah, it's so much fun. Read it. It's so
Okay.
much fun.
No, I'm looking it up. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you have to look it up. How to Be a Jewish Mom. And basically it says, for example, these examples of, you just have to sigh. How's it called? Like when you go like, you know, you say to your husband, like, can you pick up the trash? And
Mhm.
you don't hear anything from him. And then you say it again. Can you please go out and pick, you know, can you pick up trash? And then you don't hear anything else. And then you go like, then probably he's gonna go pick up the trash when you do that. Like
Yeah.
you have to manipulate the situation. And yeah, so I think it's very, I don't know, all this manipulation and this micromanaging, and it's very, you know, it's very, how do I say this? It's like it's the core of the Latin American and Jewish mother.
Yeah.
It's for me, yeah, that's how we work, and we do it out of love.
Yeah, that's
We
what
do
I mean.
it,
Yeah, it comes from love. That makes
yeah,
sense. Yeah. Well, I just looked up the book. It's 60 years old. It's from 1964.
yeah,
It's an amazing cover because it's like the Jewish mother is like basically trying to take care of an old like a grown man, right? With been feeding him by the spoon with an old man. So there's a lot to take from that
I
that.
love that cover. I love
Yeah,
that cover.
it's a cliche, right? Like they're all Jewish men or the mama's boys, right? So by the Jewish
Yeah.
mom. So yeah. No, I
But you
love.
continue. I mean, you continue to do that. Like my mom can call me up
Yeah.
and do that, like really pamper. Like she can do that to me right now. She can come at my house and try to fix my hair and go like, oh, why, like really, they're feeding you like until you're 40, 50, 60. I don't know. I don't know how long. In the future, they're gonna be so much older. So she's gonna be like, I don't know, 120 and still be doing that.
Well, you
I
do
don't
it,
know.
but then it's like the cycle. Then you do it to your kid as well, right? And then,
Yeah. Yeah.
all right. So I want to talk about the before we finish off. I want to talk about your team because your team's fantastic. You're like you talked about collaborating with your sound designer. Fantastic sound design. Like it really shows the isolation of the house. Keys on the emotions, keys on the themes, and also there's some great special effects in the film. Nice cinematography. So you're talking. So you said you're going to use this almost a similar team for your feature for this feature film.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're gonna have to expand it a little bit more because it's a feature. So
Yeah.
yeah, we're looking at right now we're looking at Norway. Maybe we're gonna collaborate with Norway. Maybe we're gonna collaborate with the United States. So yeah, we don't really know. It depends on where the film lands in what country. And yeah, so we're looking around. We're shopping for photographers or
Yeah.
for other collaborators. But yeah, I mean, I would very much love to keep some of the team because they helped me so much with this short, and they were really, yeah, part of the making of this film.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's fantastic. And so have you made a feature for this will be your first feature film when you're ready to shoot?
Yeah, yeah. Will be my first feature film.
Well, I think it's a great idea. And it's like because I said it keys on the universal emotions of parenting and generations like you described, but also with the modern kind of like futurist twist, I guess, to it, right? So because we're creating the AIs that we're creating these people, right? Like the humans. So it's funny that we are creating we're creating it's that slippery slope of like someone helping you and then someone judging you, I guess we're talking about, right?
Mm.
So
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's gonna be really interesting. I think we are gonna be. I mean, for me, it's interesting to always mirror. I mean, I've been mirroring myself in films like a lot. Like
yeah,
it's for
sure.
me, like it's catharsis to me to make films. Like I understand myself better. But I think that with AI, we're gonna be mirroring ourselves and our bad parts of ourselves much more in the future. So I see AI as very in a very positive way,
Yeah.
actually. But we're gonna be also we will have to make other laws, and of course I'm not stupid. We're gonna have to work a lot on that, but we do have to see in what way can we work with AI
Yeah.
in the future, because yeah, it's here to stay. It's not like
Yeah.
something
Well,
that's
there's a
gonna
good
go
movie that just is, I don't know if it's in Sweden yet, but The Wild Robot, which is about a robot who's basically a mother, right? So it's based on a book series, but it's a fantastic movie, and it's about kind of the themes that you're talking about in your film. So you should check it. I know your animation's your thing as well, so I don't know if that's something to check
Is
out
it an
because
animation?
yeah, and the Wild Robot, yeah, it's an animation.
Oh my God, I have to see it. I love it.
Yeah,
I
I
love
don't
it
know. I know
already.
it's in North America. I don't know if it's gone to Europe yet, but basically,
Yeah.
it's basically, but it's a pod. But I guess the moral is that it's a positive story about technology. Positive story about like kind of the future of technology, right? It's not like
Mhm.
most of them are like apocalyptic, negativity, right?
Yeah,
Watching
exactly.
your film, it's like I don't trust that
Mhm.
that person. So because it's like it's in our ether, right? So basically, but it's a positive
Exactly. But
about
I thought that was interesting because people are like, I've sent this to a lot of women afterwards, and they were like, "Oh, I started to watch it, then I couldn't because it was too scary." And I was like, "Oh, but you didn't. You have to finish like,
yeah.
because it was, the scary parts are." So for the feature, I'm making it a comedy. Actually, it's more of a comedy
Okay.
than this. It's more like it has the thriller elements, but it's more dark humor. Yeah, in a way, because I want more people also to see it and not to be afraid of,
Yeah.
and get the idea of no. So AI is just not like numbers. They're not gonna, maybe this AI clone might irritate you in a way and might want to protect you in a way, but it's not gonna
On
kill
that note,
humanity.
we do have to go. I appreciate your time, and
Yeah,
let's talk again when you make your feature.
cool.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.